Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. I've returned from Iraq in one piece, and I thank you as always first for your prayers. It was both encouraging and depressing at the same time. If you want a little bit more detailed news, please go to our website where I've recorded a bit longer information, but also will be regularly over the next couple of weeks putting up details of the business. But I would say, first and foremost in this little introduction, thank you to you for your support. The encouragement was our businesses are really helping people stay. I was told multiple times that they're making a huge difference. It's a small difference, but it's a huge difference. And even if we're tempted sometimes to become disconsolate or despondent, it's one family at a time, and that one family in God's eyes is extremely important. So thank you. Without your support it would not happen, and we are encouraging our brethren to stay despite the oppressive conditions they're living under. One little family business makes a huge difference, so thank you. You'll be receiving this nugget, this gospel nugget, on Candlemas Friday of February the 2nd, Thursday in fact, officially the end of the Christmas season. It was encouraging, in fact, in Iraq, both in the churches and in family homes, to see the Christmas tree and decorations still up. People were surprised that in the West we've forgotten that Christmas doesn't end on December the 25th. I've always loved this feast, in particular because I find the figures of Simeon, the elderly and faithful man who longed for the light, and Anna the prophetess, both fascinating and encouraging. That image of fidelity into old age, especially when prayers apparently haven't been answered, is so powerful and important for us. Perhaps it's because I myself have begun the slow, dark descent into decrepitude as I endure my 60th winter. Old age is a challenge, but I'm always encouraged by Chesterton's words when he spoke of middle age, not even old age, as the time when the power of hoping through everything, the knowledge that the soul survives its adventures, as coming to those of us who have indeed passed many winters. He strengthens me by saying that God has kept that good wine until now. It is from the backs of the elderly gentlemen that the wings of the butterfly should burst. Personally, I find my vintage rather vinegary, but I'll take the portly prophet's word for it. One cannot romanticize old age. It's often the time of sadness, of regret, of bitterness, and of course sickness. As a priest, I found a curious loss of faith and even unwillingness to accept sin among those of allegedly fine vintage. It's curious because it would seem that with a proper appreciation of life, there would be both contrition and gratitude. Sadly, both are sometimes missing. Which is why for those of us who claim faith in the light, the true light who has come into the world, those two elderly figures, Simeon and Anna, are signs of hope and inspiration. Now, Lord, let your servant depart in peace, for my eyes have seen your salvation, sang old Simeon, and those of us who say the office every night. At last, another translation of the Nunc Dimittis has Simeon crying, at last. How many years had he prayed to see the light? How many years had he trusted God's promise, but had seen nothing? He remained calm. His soul was tranquil. That's our message of hope for all who seek peace and healing. Reading the words of an ancient writer this week, this was put so well. As Diadocus of Photitke wrote his beautiful words in the office which I have here, he wrote, "Indeed, those who struggle must ceaselessly maintain calmness of thought. Thus the mind will be able to discriminate between the suggestions which pass through it, and will place those which are good and come from God in the treasure house of memory, while it will eject from this natural reservoir those which are evil and come from the devil. When the sea is calm, fishermen perceive the movement of its depths to such a point that hardly any of the creatures which move along its tracks escapes them. For when the sea is tossed about by winds, it hides its sombre movement, what it readily reveals in the smiling surface of its tranquillity. Let this be our prayer and resolution as the winters keep coming. I'll finish with the beautiful prayer of Malcolm Guite for Candlemas. They came as called according to the law. Though they were poor and had to keep things simple, they moved in grace, in quietness, in awe, for God was coming with them to his temple. Amid the outer court's commercial bustle, they'd waited hours, enduring shouts and shoves. Buyers and sellers, sensing one more hustle, had made a killing on the 2 young doves. They come at last with us to Candlemas, and keep the day the prophecies came true. We share with them amidst our busyness the peace that Simeon and Anna knew. For Candlemas still keeps his kindled light. Against the dark, our Saviour's face is bright. Brethren, rejoice, be perfected, be comforted, be of the same mind, be at peace, and the God of peace and love will be with you.